Welcome everybody to Tasty Tuesdays at Imbed with Possibilities podcast. I'm Lorene Hughes, your host from Crafting Possibilities, and tonight we have the very special privilege of being with Vicki Morales from Vicki's Soul Space. Welcome, Vicki.
Thank you. What an intro. Holy moly. Incredible.
I like to make them special for each of my guests so that, you get a little bit of a twinkly of a highlight before you even begin speaking.
True. That's beautiful.
So my beautiful guest tonight, she is a born psychic medium healer. After suppressing Vicki's abilities for many years, she was guided by spirit to reawaken her gifts to serve others. Vicki is passionate about working with people to heal on an emotional and spiritual level. She's a Lightwave Practioner, Reiki Master, a Meditation Facilitator, and so much more. Vicki is here to support you in restoring your mind, your body, and your soul.
But we all need to have it restored.
I think so. So, Vicki, let's just slam straight into it because I know your time is precious and so is mine. So I would love to know just a little bit more about how did you begin on your spiritual journey? So there was a bit of a mention in the intro there of how you sort of pushed it to the side for a while. So what brought you back?
Okay, so I've always known as a child that I could do things and see things. So I could hear when people weren't there. I could smell things that weren't there. I could smell bread baking, or apples, or cigars, something like that. Right. So to me, that was my norm. That's what I didn't know. I was different. I just know that I could do different things to other people. As I got older and I left home, it became a really valuable tool in my life to be able to use that. And of course, I would use all sorts of things for divination. So you can divine with anything: cards, eggshells, eggs, water, you name it. So I would read cards for my friends, and we do all what we do. And then I was in a relationship with my son's father where I was then, I needed to at that time suppress the things that I did. So that was a protection thing, and I was guided by spirit to shut down and do what you do. So when I had left my son's father, it was like, okay, you've got to get cracking now, girl. You've got to, you get all these signs about what you have to do. And so through lots of lessons that we've been learning for good 30 years, I left my son's father about 30 years ago. It's like, okay, let's slowly start going back to where we were. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you going? What's your purpose in life? I found that I had this, 6-month-old baby. What am I going to do with it? And I actually remember sitting on the lounge room floor, and I said, okay, you've given me this beautiful gift of a child. I don't know what you want me to do with it. We don't have children in our family or cousins or aunties because they're all overseas. What do you do with children? So it's like, okay, if you want me to look after this little one, you're going to have to show me what to do. But to show me what to do, you're going to show me who I am. And so it's like, okay, that's basically where it all began. Wow. So I have to teach my son who he is. I had to teach my son the ways that he knew and tell. And a lot of people out there have children, and they say, oh, you know what, I put my baby to bed and they just giggle and play all night. No, they're talking to the family's upstairs. The Lightworker family or the Galactic family, or, great-granddad come down to play checkers with them. Then you tap into all of that. So it's like, all right, this is where my path lies. And you will always find signs, and even if you don't look for them. Do what you're supposed to do. So that's basically where it all started.
Wow. It's something that I've seen many, many times over, is how often children are such an inspiration for our spiritual journey. I've seen that with many of my friends who have children, and it's like through having these very conscious, very awake, very aware kids, it's been the impetus for their own spiritual journey to just suddenly bounce forward. And it's not always pleasant, it's not always easy.
No.
But it's certainly been a massive jump start towards being who you truly be, because you suddenly realize I can't be fake anymore, because these kids can see straight through it, and that doesn't work for me.
Correct. Not only can they see through you, they'll start playing. They'll play the game with you, and you'll see it a lot when children like to play off mum and play off dad. It's like, who's going to win? Well, they aren't sure. They like to, throw a log in the fire and see the flames roar. But as parents, I believe it's our role to guide them as well. So if you're going to guide a child into reading and writing, then why can't you teach them how to scribe? Why can't you teach them light language? Why can't you teach them how to divine? What's the difference? And to me, there was no difference. So in teaching the children, you're teaching yourself. You're only actually remembering what you already knew. So you're not really teaching them, you're just reminding yourself of who you are and what you need to do. And children are really good at doing that. So are great friends. I had some great friends along the way that could help me out. So that works as well.
Absolutely. It's one of the things that you and I agree very deeply on, is the fact that what we are, especially in the world of consciousness, what we are quote unquote learning is actually just remembering. We have it's already there. It's already up there in our Akashic records, in the consciousness, the world, collective consciousness, wherever you want to place that information, it's all there. And we're just remembering it in this conscious form now. And I love that about the conversations that we have, because it's like, I remembered how to do this. It's like, oh yeah, no, isn't that awesome?
So, exactly. People say, wow, some people can pick up a language really quickly, and I go, well, probably because in your past life you were in France, or maybe in your past life you were in Genghis Khan's army. And so, of course, you're going to know all of these things. You're only remembering what you were. So it's a lesson you haven't learned from your past life you're bringing into this life, and then, boom, you're going to remember it so that you can heal along the way.
Yeah.
People say, well, can you teach me? I say, no, I can't, but I can help you remember. I can't teach you anything. You already know what you need to know. But I can help you remember what it is you need to know. Let me help you jog your memory, and you can follow your path. That's how it works.
I love that. I love that, love that, love that. So throughout your journey with your different modalities that you've learned, because I know that what I'd said in the bio was it was only a snippet of your very vast array of things that you know and draw on. With all of that knowledge that is sitting behind you, what does consciousness mean to you?
So consciousness, we can either be conscious or you can be unconscious. So if you're unconscious, you're just being and not unaware. You're non-responsive. You're just laying down, doing whatever you want to do in your head. When you're conscious, to me, that means, are you alert? Are you aware? Do you know your surroundings? Do you know who you are? Do you know where you're with? Do you know what you need to do? So to me, it's a personal... when people talk about consciousness, am I aware of who I am? Absolutely. I might look 58 to you, but I'm a couple of million years before that, and I've got quite a few lifetimes. Do I know what I'm supposed to do? Sometimes. So we all get stuck with, am I aware of what my purpose is? Well, yeah, but then, the cicadas in your head will keep... It's not schizophrenia, I tell people. And it sometimes brings out the threats I don't have. But it's like, this is my path and this is what I need to do. Are you aware of your path? Are you aware of what you are doing here? Are you aware of when I say like your path? My path has always been to teach people. In many lifetimes I've been a healer. So how do I know that information? Because I am remembering what I was. Can I mix potions? Mate, I can mix potions like you can't believe. Why? Because I've actually channel Merlin a lot. So if I need something, it's like, hey Merlin, I've got somebody here with lots of anxiety. And I can't just wave my hands and say the words, what we're going to do when they go home. Go get your oils, mix this, mix that, go get this hair boom. There you have. Now I have a rollerball blend that will help people calm their anxiety, because I'm aware of who I'm talking to. I'm aware of my purpose. That's what consciousness means to me. Are you aware? Are you awake? Or are you just like a gummy bear just sitting there waiting for somebody to do something or show you the way? And I find that a lot. People that are not conscious sometimes have just lost their way. Need somebody to help them and support them and do what they want. And then you've got free will. You can choose to stay unconscious, or you can choose to be conscious and move on to where you need to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And just a quick shout out, we've got Holly from New Zealand. She's joined in. She's given us a little wave. So hi.
Wow, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Been there. Many years ago.
Oh dear. Yeah, I completely agree, and I love your analogy of a gummy bear.
Not that I'd eat them, I'm vegetarian, but still.
No, you can have the vegetarian type. Hi, Brigitte.
Oh, Brigitte, hi, honey, how are you? Gosh, I haven't seen you for so long. I need to catch up with coffee. That's so many people to catch up with. Goodness.
Oh, tell me about it. It's just been an absolute crazy few weeks. It's for sure.
Months. I've had a crazy few months.
Yeah, for sure. So in your journeys, like, I know you've worked with many thousands of clients over the years, and could you tell me, maybe without being revealing of any personal information, of course, what is your most tasty experience so far, being, Vicki and her healing and in spiritual space?
I've always known about nursing. So I channel Florence Nightingale, and I worked as a carer for many years, because I would go and help people. And then I left that job, but I still wanted to be able to help people. A couple of years ago, I had a lady come to me. So I understand client confidentiality. I can tell you a story, but I never tell people their name. So I had a client come to me probably 4 years ago now, and her head was just spinning like a top. Oh my God. And I said, come inside, sit down. And I said to her, do you have anxiety? Now, I know she does, but it's the way that you word it. I'm not a doctor on this earth, right? Not on the 3D earth, but I was like, do you have anxiety? She said, yes. I said, well, may I help you? Because I feel like my head's spinning. It's like right off the charts. So we did a healing. And she said, wow. And then she proceeded to tell me that she couldn't have children because apparently her uterus was torn in half. You can see it's a tear like this in her uterus. And she went to the doctor, and the doctor said she can't have children and she needs to wait at least 2 years for surgery. And maybe then she'll be able to. I said, okay. I said, well, may I help you? And she said, what are you going to do? And I said, well, just lay on the Reiki table here, and Reiki's not invasive, right? You don't put your hands where they don't need to be. That's what Sharon's for. So I said, lay on the table here, and if you just allow me to tap into your energy, maybe I could help. So using psychic surgery, and I have a whole team of amazing doctors. Florence Nightingale's there, it's just brilliant. So we actually sewed up her uterus, cleaned it out, and I embedded there a beautiful child for her. To do that, though, you need to ask their higher self under grace and in a perfect way. Otherwise, you can't do it. If they say, if upstairs says no, then it's a no. So I was allowed to do that, and we did that. She came to me about 6 weeks later. Well, she messaged me a little bit before that and said, like, my breasts are really sore and I'm really moody and I think I need to come to you because I'm just like, I said, all right, come on over. So she came to my house and she told me that, and I could feel this baby, and I can't say anything until she tells me. So I just write it down in my book, blah, blah, blah. And then she sent me a message. I said to her, maybe you need to go to the doctor and check. If this is how you're feeling, go to your doctor and tell them, you're nauseous, you're this. Now, I can help you with the symptoms. If you allow me, they're the key words, will you allow me to? So she went back to the doctor and they said, I need to do an ultrasound. And she said, I'm pregnant. I said, are you? That's great, congratulations. But aren't you not able to have children? Isn't that what you told me 7 weeks ago? And she said, well, yes, according to the ultrasound, I am now 6 weeks pregnant. That's when I came to visit you. She now had, and then they did an ultrasound. She was blessed to have the same lady perform the ultrasound on her uterus that was torn as with her baby scan. And she said to the woman, could you please scan my uterus because apparently it's torn in half. She said, no, your uterus is fine. There is a slight scar. And I said to her, okay, I'll do better next time. She's now blessed with a 16-month-old little girl. That would be the tastiest. Like, it's just so beautiful that somebody that was told it can't happen, then to find out that it can happen. It was always in her contract to be a mum. It was always there. She just needed to find the right person to help her. So I have actually helped 5 women have beautiful babies that they thought they would never have.
Oh, Vicki, you are seriously, that's such a beautiful, beautiful gift. We're getting a lot of love from Kaya Grove, and she says hi. And
hi,
Kia, sorry. I'm like,
right. We can just put Aura in front of it and you'll be fine.
And Jade, your beautiful Jade, she's in there, yeah. Same last name as you.
Yes, funny about that.
So yes, everybody's agreeing that you're just amazing, and they love that story.
Well, it's in your contract. That's what you do. I was blessed with the most amazing son. So that to me was a gift that if you can help somebody along the way, give them that gift, why not? Why not? That's what life is about. The purpose is to help. Learn your lessons, heal your traumas, work out what they are, and then I know what it's like to not have children. And I know what it's like to have children. So
Jade says he's okay.
He's all right. He's more than all right. He's more than all right.
And then she put the cheeky face, like,
Yes. Yes. Jade's all right too, I feel like. He's not perfect, but he's perfect for me, and that's what counts. That's what counts.
Exactly right. And I know for sure that there would be so many people that you have helped in absolutely phenomenal ways, and you've shared a couple of stories with me when we've been able to catch up, and it's just such a gift to be able to know such incredibly talented people in this world, and it's just so cool.
That's because we attract a reflection of ourselves.
I'll receive.
If you're attracting intelligent, beautiful people, there's a reason, isn't there?
Absolutely. So Alison Barford, she says, hey, how are we all? I'd love to join in, but I can't find the sound. I can't help you on that one. Maybe turn the media settings up, or I don't know, Alison. I'm sorry.
Hi. Tell her to type. I don't know.
So maybe there's something to do with the things at her end. Maybe she needs to turn her phone off and on. I don't know. So that sometimes works for me.
It works for people as well. It's called rest and reboot.
Exactly right. So, with your beautiful... Oh, actually, there is something that I would like to talk about before we go there. So, in your business, you channel all sorts of different, I'm going to say time periods and cultures.
Yeah.
And I'd love to know, how did the Egyptian stuff start coming in through your world?
Okay, so they actually cross over a lot with the Egyptians. Look, they're just I don't actually know what time. I have no idea about geography and distance, and I have no idea about time. So it works like this. Okay, so people have come to me and they're looking for their contract says, you're going to give birth, blah blah blah. All right, so okay, I need to channel Florence Nightingale. She's not Egyptian, but then I also need to channel Brigid. Brigid is the Celtic god of fertility. But then it's like, well, okay, let's just pop into the Egyptians and test how we're going to do this. So I don't actually have a time period. They've always been there. Merlin and I have been really good friends. I actually remember as a child, you go outside, you pick sour salts and roses, and you put them all together. And I could hear this lady's voice in my like I'm talking to you. You hear these people, and there were no children in our street. They're just myself and my sisters. So as long as I can play with the little girl next door, because there was none. And then I hear, put rosemary in there, and then I hear Merlin going, and lavender. Shush, Morgana, shush. Right, so it's always been like, all right. So when I do stuff, I'll start making it, and Merlin says to me, and who gave you that? I go, Morgana. Goes, well, add this and add that, so no worries. Let's just, I say, you got to get over your issue. If I'm then working on something, so I need to, if I'm going somewhere where I don't know and I've never been, of course, your guide's there to protect you. So I actually have Hecate a lot. She's a Greek goddess, and she's a triple moon goddess. So she's a goddess of the underworld. She's a goddess of the crossroads. And she's a goddess of astro traveling, which they say they'll walk with dogs. Well, I'm a little like, I need to go astro traveling and see my friends, and then you'll see Osiris will come. Now he's the Egyptian god of the afterlife, which is the same but different, right? So they just pop in when they need to. They've always been there. They just come when you need them to be there. If I'm going somewhere and somebody's busy, then Anubis will come past. Sure, hi guys, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Done. And a lot of times I'll go out somewhere and I'll do like a psychic fair, and I'll still flying high because it takes a lot to ground you. And I'll drive home and go, hey, Anubis, take me, mate. Zone out, come home, you're done. They've just always been there. Sekhmet is an amazing. So people say, I pray to God. I go, great, because I pray to like 3,000 of them. There's the God of whoever, right? The God of children, the God of flowers, the God of this, the God of that. You just call in who you need. And that's how my word works. If I need something, I just call them in. It's not that hard. Now, I say that at the age of 58, I've been doing that for a long time. I had a manifesting workshop on the weekend, and people are kind of looking at me and go, you do what? If you need bread, you just manifest bread. I'm like, yeah. My son was at school, and the thing would grow like a weed. Bloody hell! I'm wearing a school jumper. He says, Mum, I need another jumper. I'm thinking, oh my God, single mum working hard. School jumper $65. How am I gonna get another one? Oh, so do I manifest $65? No, I manifest the jumper. Call them in. I go, hey, here's the God of children. I need this jumper. Thank you very much. There you go. Got to buy this for work. $70. Go buy yourself a jumper for the child. It's not. I don't find that hard, but I've been doing it forever. So to me, of course, it's easy because that's what you do. It's no different to you stepping on a ladder and cleaning somebody's exhaust fan. You just go and do it.
Yeah.
I don't think about it, I just do it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
The Egyptians come when they need, the Romans come when they need, the Palladians will come when they need, the Lyrians will come. They're everywhere. And if I talk to people other than people like yourself, So thankfully I have this amazing soul family that I don't have to end up in, you know, loony bin. But I can't pinpoint exactly when Hecate came to life. I can't tell you exactly when I did a past life regression and found out that I was a high priestess, and it just is. It is what it is, and I do what I do. I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, I love that you have such I love that you have such a vast spirit team, as I like to call them. It's just so vast, and it's so amazing. It's a beautiful example of the variety of a spirit team and what is possible there. And it's something that I talk about a lot. It's like people go, oh, well, I can't feel my guides, or I can't feel my spirit team, or whatever. And I'm just like, well, here's the thing. Your spirit team is not always going to be the same. So it's not always, you might have felt it one way, and then it'll change because what you require changes at that time. So it's like it's gonna have a different vibration, or a different feel, or a different smell, or a different whatever, and you've just got to be okay with that. It's not always gonna feel the same.
Correct. We don't always have the same hairdo. We don't always wear the same lipstick. You don't always eat the same food. Guides are the same. I have an amazing team up there. We've got the light workers. I've got the angelics, the galactics, the Palladians, you name it. They're there. And let's not forget, but when we have the elements, we've got Mother Earth, Gaia. We've got Lady Moon. We've got Brother Sun. They're all there. They're all there. I say to people, they're like friends. Not all your friends are the same. So you will have a friend possibly that's really great at listening. You'll have a friend that's really great at technology. You'll have a friend that's really great at having fun. You'll have a friend that's really great at reading. When you want to know information about something, you'll go to your friend that's really good at reading, because they will help you find whatever information it is. You're not going to go to the one that's, really good to party hard to go get information. So your friends will come to you when you need them, and that's the same as your guides. Your guides will often drop breadcrumbs though, so be aware of what if you don't. Feathers are a great one, I found a feather, you go, it didn't mean that the pigeon next door died. It means, why is there a feather on my doorstep? Well, pick up the feather and question, are there birds around, and why is it? I had a friend come over, and I had a feather stuck on my lamp on the inside of the house. My lamp was in the lounge, and she said, hey, how come there's a feather there? And I went, a what? Because there's a feather there, that's for you. Because I didn't notice that feather, you did. There's a feather for you. That's a message for you. Look for them, and you will find it starts off like, did I really hear that song? Did I really I can smell pizza. Well, no, there's no, you're out in the middle of, I don't know where, and you're not sitting in your car, you smell pizza. There's signs. That's what you need to look for.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's funny because my granddad, who was my mum's dad, he's very close to me. We're soul siblings or something, so there's a very deep soul connection there.
It's been your father in many lifetimes.
Yeah, exactly. And we have, when he was alive, but he was in the stages of early dementia, and he forgot how to call me, how to phone me, and so he would just think about me really, really, really hard, and it would start making my stomach queasy. And then one day I couldn't figure out why my stomach was so weird and queasy. Like, I was 3.5 hours drive away, so it wasn't like a quick pop over see granddad. It was like, it's a proper journey. And then I was coming out of a law of attraction seminar, and at the rear of my car was a cat exactly like his. And I was like, that looks a lot like Granddad's cat. And it looked at me, and it sat there, and it goes, meow. And I just went, oh, hang on a minute. has Granddad sent you to me? And it was like, meow. And then it left. And I was just like, okay, I'll call Granddad tomorrow. And as soon as I called him on the phone, my stomach settled down, no more problems. And that was the first time he did that. And then it happened a couple more times. And I said to him after the third time, I said, Granddad, you need to stop thinking about me so hard because you're making my stomach really queasy.
But he's getting dementia. He wouldn't remember that. All he knows is he needs to contact you. But at that point, it's you now know that when your stomach gets to the side, queasy, when you're feeling queasy, that's, hi, Granddad, how you going? You didn't notice it the first time. You just thought, oh, gosh, what have I been eating? But it wasn't until you saw the cat, and that's how the spirit world works. You don't take note of one sign. They're going to keep telling them until you do. We all learn differently. So some people can learn through instructions, write them down, give them the instructions, and off they go. They're the IKEA workers, right? So you can't put your bits together and go ring them. They're the IKEA people, put all your nuts and bolts and there you go. Some people learn by watching. Guides are the same. They will keep on hounding you until they find a way that you've learned, and they'll go, okay, let's keep doing that. So they know that you're visual, you'll keep looking at visual things.
Yeah.
Until you learn. It's beautiful when you can connect to people like that. I don't actually feel that people are dead. People say to me, like, you know, my mum died or their dad died or their whoever. Really? Because they're just standing there. I go, oh.
I love that.
Like, no, they're still going through the 9 gates. So they're up to gate 7. They haven't quite passed yet. They're only up to gate 7. They've still got, you know, 2 more gates to get through. And well, they're not there. I do have a very big issue with like the dead because they're not actually dead.
Yes, I agree. And I mean, with my granddad, obviously, you're aware he's passed over and he's on his little journey and doing what he's doing. But even just this week, in the last few days, I was having like this real internal conflict moment, and because I'm going through a lot of progression and processing of different things at the moment. And I was just having one of those moments where it was just like, I felt like everything was just like, and then he just came in and he just gave me this big hug, and I could feel his little arms all around my middle like this, and he was just giving me a big hug, and I was just like, thank you, Granddad, thank you. You know, he doesn't have to do that very often these days, but every now and then when I'm just at that, I don't know what to do with myself, when all the feels are coming up and I don't know what to do, he'll just come in and he'll just give me a big hug.
But he used to do that when he was alive as well.
Yes, not so much, but yeah.
What am I going to do? Well, there's always Granddad. And that's how it works. It's beautiful when that happens. So you can talk to anybody, because, you know, like they're not actually dead. Just call them in and, hey, I'd like to sit and have a chat with you. You light your candle. Light a candle, talk to them that way.
Yeah,
it's good.
Absolutely.
It's just, I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing dead for me.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like I say to a lot of people when their family member or friend has passed away, I say, like, enjoy this time of transition, because you're just transitioning how you're going to speak with them, that's all. It's the difference between, say, you know, in the old days, before you really even used the telephone and stuff like that, like, you would have to go and see your friend face to face, and then you'd move away, and then you'd have to use the telephone. You had to transition how you would communicate. And then, of course, people would move to other countries or different states or whatever. And then the technology came in, and now you're having to use Zoom or your Facebook Messenger or whatever internet, you know. But in the old days, you couldn't do that even. You had to use the old pen and paper.
Some of us still do pen and paper, right? Some of us are that old that we like pen and paper. I do like a phone that I can call my friends, but yeah, I'm still a pen and paper girl. We write everything down. But to do this, I did a manifestation workshop, and guess what? It's all written down. My whole workshop's written down by hand, pen and paper. We're done.
I love it. I love it. So
I
it's like
the type of the printer, and that's how it works. That's exactly right. You learn how to. You're just going to have to think of a new way of how to talk to those that you want to, and those once they've died, and then they become, they're in this spirit world. They have to learn too how to communicate with you as well. It's not as though it's like, well, you know what, I died yesterday, so now I want to go and say, hi, going, Lorene, let's have a coffee. I know you drink tea, so I'm going to have a tea with Lorene, but you know what? I don't know how to get down there. Oh, geez, I don't know how to get there. I can't make the coffee. Well, she can't even see me. I'm just standing right here. How rude, just ignored me. Spirit has to find a way to, it's like, okay, get there and then learn how they're going to, and I find that there are lots of spirit that don't even know that they're dead. So,
yeah,
they're kind of lost.
Yeah. And then you get the ones that have a sudden burst of going, wow, now I can do anything. And they get a little bit too full of themselves, and they kind of cross over some ethical boundaries sometimes. And yes, I've had to pull one of those back into line and just go, look, no, that's not what you're allowed to do. Like, that's their journey. That's what they have to do for themselves. They've made their own choices, and it's not for you to get involved. And they're like, oh.
And that's where all those haunted house stories come from. It's like, yay! It's like, so, friends, want you to take note of him. This is my house, and I used to live here, and slams all the kitchen doors. It's like, well, no, it doesn't work like that, Fred, because you know what, they can't see it. So keep slamming the doors. So then you need to be in the house and a really good clearing. I'm not talking about get your sage stick and, waft it around like you just don't care. I'm talking about a proper house clearing where you clear out all of that energy, the negative energy, the psychic energy, the sad energy, and just let that spirit move on. And go like, you know what? If you want to be one of those wild boys, how about you come to the park and be a wild boy down there and let this house go? Then you've got to work out why they want to be a wild boy. It's like freedom. Teenagers when they first leave home, it's like, yay, 18, I can party hard. They party hard all weekend, and then Monday they don't put the hangover. Next weekend they don't party so hard. But yeah, let them have their fun, and then they learn. At least to learn as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just moving through now, like, what is the aim of? First of all, you now have an incredible little studio. So I'd love for you to let people know, where that is to start off with, and then just expand a little bit more on what the aim of your studio, your business, your healing, your Vicki Soul Space is.
So, I have always known that I was going to open this up to the public. So for many years, I would just work with the ones that I love. So all my friends, they'd always get healings and reading and guidance, and I'll light you a candle, I'll do this, I'll do that. I met some beautiful people along the way that I was basically pushed into. Meet this person, do this. It's like, well, no, because I like to hide. I'm very shy. I know I don't sound shy. People go, oh my God, but I am shy. I learned not to be. So that's why I went out and did some fairs, and I met some people. It's like, you know what, you need to do this, you need to do that. Okay, this is like, I need to comes from upstairs. Okay, I'm not going to do it. And then you're forced into a situation. All right, I'm going to remember how to do Reiki now. Reiki, it's just energy healing, right? So, but everybody needs a label, we'll call it that. It's just light work, basically working with light energy. So I started just before COVID. I came out of the broom closet, and my friends would say to me, I didn't know you could do that. And I go, really? Like the tarot cards on the kitchen table and the burning candle didn't give it away? I light 50 incense a day, and you go, like, I don't cut yash because I've got to make my own black soul out of that. Like, that didn't give it away. Or the kooky bits didn't give it away. I didn't know. Okay, so then we started there. And then strangers, people I didn't know would come. People will come to you that need to. they're looking for something, so they would come to me for guidance. Okay, let's throw the cards. If you don't have cards, you can use anything. You can divine with anything. You don't have to have tarot cards or oracle cards, trust me. You can use any eggs will do anything, right? And so, okay, let's give you a guiding. Let's give you a healing. You're anxious, let's remove some of the symptoms. You can't sleep, let's fix that. And then I got really busy at home, like really busy. And people were triggered like you wouldn't believe. COVID came, let's not go there, but COVID came and some people got caught up into this web that they couldn't get out of. And so they're triggered like you wouldn't believe. And I would have to shield myself in my house. I'm not going outside because it's way too people. I would go to the shops to go get the groceries. I'd come home and it's like, oh my God, hey, I saw you this, I say, trigger. Come to me and I can help you. I always say, if you allow me to, I can help you. And they go, all right, let's do that. And then I was holding workshops so that other people, there's people that I can't reach. So I would say, okay, if I teach you Reiki, so okay, Lorene, you'd like to learn Reiki, I'll teach you Reiki, and that way you can give Reiki to your friends and yourself and your pets, and you're going to be able to help people that I can't. Because I don't know your God, but I know of you. So let's pass it that way. And I got so busy and I kept having all these, let's call them dreams. No, they're not. Right? Mugwort under your pillow is a great, like, just let you know, right? Grow your own, it's much easier. So I had all these dreams and it's like, oh my God, I've got this centre and all these people are coming and it's basically a hut out in the forest. I went, yeah, all right, so I need something. And then a beautiful friend of mine, actually, I was talking to her on Sunday afternoon and she said, I need a shop. And I said, oh, well, it's like nearly 4 o'clock. The shops are closed soon. Shall we go there? She said, no, not for me. I said, well, do you need milk or bread? I've got spare milk if you want to take it home. I just bought it yesterday. And she said, no, not shop for me, shop for you. Where's this address? Right? I went, oh, no, 10 minutes up the way. So good, let's go have a look. And here we are. And I knew that, again, it was coming. So I'm at Old Reynella. Old South Road, Old Reynella. So you can't get any older. See how old. And it's surrounded by trees. So there's my little cottage in the tree. So it's 220 Old South Road, Old Reynella. There's a beautiful Indian restaurant, like 2 doors down. Oh my God, the best chana masala you've ever had. Across the road there's a food land where there's food. Next door to me. So I'm like shop number 2. That's what it's written on my list. Shop number 2. But number 4 is May Wizard. So that's a taxation. You can't go past that, can you? So I'm number 2. Number 4 is the Wizard. Next door is a dentist, and their phone number is 336-636-26 something blah blah. Done. And so it's an all-round adventure, which means I can now get people out of my home and into this centre where the front bit is a reception, so that's got, you've got to keep it like that's all my stuff there, my candles and bits. But I have a healing room specifically for light bed healing and the Reiki and sound bowls. I've got drum, I've got everything. And then I have another room which I do readings from, so you can not just cards, right? You don't have to just read cards. Sometimes I'll light a candle and let that burn down and I'll scry the wax and I'll go, here we go, this is lit, and they'll just look at me like, really? Like, you don't need to point your nose on a wall, you just need to connect to like, all right, who's got a scry with me? And then like, yeah. So this is, I opened it in November. I've had people say to me, I had a grand opening, I didn't know you were open, but I never closed. I actually never closed. I went to town, got the keys on a Monday. Tuesday I had some amazing people who helped me move things from my house into so I didn't have to buy anything, everything came from the house. The healing bed, the crystal bed, the chairs, this, that. And then Wednesday I had people in here, like instead of coming to my house, just come to here and off we go. So it's appointment only, but not really. So people message me and they book a time and then I just come here. So, maybe on a Wednesday and I have to come as that's my But I say, like, can I come, are you free on a Friday, 1 o'clock? I go, sure, but I might be here 11 o'clock on Friday and do my own thing. You should never have too many candles. And you can never have too many conversations. And you can never have too much people burning at the same time, or, it's just, it's a place where I can be. I can recharge. I can pull myself away from the public and just be with me. And then, of course, I can keep learning and growing. It's a great place to heal those traumas that have been triggered, because it's a beautiful private area. Mercury is in retrograde. Well, we all know what happens. What happens when parents leave for the weekend and the kids go, woohoo, party hard. Welcome to Mercury, the God of War. After a while, hey, someone's going away for 33 days, and it's like, whoa, who's going to be in control of chaos? It's just what you are, And people don't do Mercury too well when he goes into retrograde. So triggers, and of course then we have new moons. We know the moon's all about emotions in the spirit world, so all your emotions fly high. And I just realised that I have a lot of work, like people book in and like, new moon, full moon, new moon, full moon. Oh, right. Retrograde, let's look that up, and then it's like, your busy times. Anybody can message to come in. It's not always, it's not threatening. It's very, the people that have come past just say to me, wow, this is amazing. The energy in here is incredible. And I go, well, it just feels normal to me. I couldn't tell you, because it feels like home. So the healing room is very Egyptian. We have Sekhmet in there. Isis is just amazing. And everybody walks up and down the hallway here. There's a little kitchenette which is great for the coffee pot. But we can make stuff in there as well, so it turns into a nice little apothecary. So it's just like, go on. I have to learn how to now make a website. I'm not so sure about how I'm going to work that one out, but this is how it works. Oh, Vicki, you need a website, says the cicadas. I go, sure, okay, well, like I'm the pen and paper girl, and they said, don't worry, it will come. So but they will show me the way to make it to their website. Although I did say I don't want that says blah, 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 .com, because I'm not that kind of girl, and at 58, it's just not happening. So if there's anybody out there that wants to help me make a website,
oh, goodness.
You know where I am, come contact me, because, and when I say we help me make a website, I actually mean like you're going to do the right to find the information. I wouldn't know what to do with technology, but I do love this little healing centre. And everybody that's come just loves it as well. It's a beautiful private space, and it's small, but it feels just amazing inside. It's just amazing.
For those of you who are aware little beings, you can probably, like me, perceive it through the screen, perceive the energy, not just from Vicki, but from the building and the rooms that she has with her. I have the ability to perceive that, and it's just like, it feels so nice and sparkly, and it's kind of like Vicki's space and my space are just like really happy chatting to each other. They're just sort of like, hi friends, hi.
We can get into the go to the healing room, and the energy doesn't make, it's flat but really high. So there's nothing there to trigger your trauma. But yeah, I love it. They're all walking around here, those that can see, that they all know who's in here. The Fae, I have to keep the Fae outside though, because we don't do Elf on the Shelf, right? Or we don't do Christmas, but we don't certainly do Elf on the Shelf, because when you let them little blighters in your house, all hell breaks loose. So I have a spot outside that I let the Fae be happy with. So you can channel everybody. You channel the Fae.
Yes.
So
yes.
you know that we're not
have
letting
that.
in.
That's why I've stayed away.
No, because you've got the little sprites and the gremlins that want to come through. The fairies are good. But, like dwarves are okay, but then they've got to bring the dragon and, how it works.
Absolutely.
Not all of them. You have to give them a salt like the old Dobby.
So, in your many, many years of experience, I would wonder, let me think, which way are we going to go? For somebody who is maybe pushed their abilities to the side for a while, for whatever reason, and now it's starting to just sort of bubble up for them, and they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and they're just sort of like, oh my god, what the hell do I do? I feel so weird, I feel so strange, like I don't know how I fit in anymore. What sort of tips would you give to those sorts of people?
People ask me that a lot, actually. People come to me a lot and they say, oh no, I feel like this or I feel like that, and I say that's probably because you're a Celtic, which means wise one. It doesn't mean that you have to wear a pointy hat and have a pimple on your nose, or it means wise one. I say to them, that's because you're a Celtic druid. Your Stonehenge tickles your thing, candles are your jam. Oh my God, how did you know? So, well, when you go home, blah, 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 blah. Well, probably because they're all telling me. That's how I know, right? Ready? You came to psychic medium. There's a surprise. Well, there's the first clue. Second clue is I say, like, I had an email just on Saturday saying that this woman had messaged me saying that she has she's a born psychic medium and she has reawakened her gifts. Well, what do? I say you trust anybody that feels a little different and doesn't fit in. I congratulate you, because guess what? You don't. You're not crazy. You're just ascending into your spirit world. You're opening up your box with all your spiritual gifts, and they come rushing out. Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel anxious? Yes. So I say to those people, trust the process and trust yourself, and take one aspect at a time and build with that. So if you think, I can say, like, and I know, like, you sleep with the light on because you're scared of the dark, so you might, because, adults aren't allowed to sleep with the light on, so you sleep with the fan on so that you don't hear the chatter at night, you sleep with a salt lamp. I go, instead of putting the night light on, why don't you just go yourself with a small salt lamp, plug that in, and you'll be good. Because you know what? Spirit doesn't know if it's day or night. Heads up. Right? They got no idea about time. They don't know that it's 3 a.m. in the morning and it's pitch black, or if it's 2 p.m. in the afternoon. If you put your light on, they're still coming, right? Just let you know. So the light, and it's like, well, okay, did you know that you're clairvoyant? That's why you think that there's things in the dark. It's because there are things in the dark. You're not scared of the dark. You're scared of the things that are in the dark. When you go home, set boundaries. And you say, if you have a message for me, which is usually why they come to visit you, to let you know that you're clairvoyant, then you can set your boundaries by saying, okay, when I'm actually asleep, then you can come and visit me when I'm asleep. So I'm going to bed from 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock, so you can come and visit me in my sleep from 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Don't come and visit me at 3 p.m. because I'm picking the kids up from school, going to freak me out. Don't, see what I'm saying? Take one aspect, work with that. Trust your guides. If you suddenly think you can hear things that aren't there, no, you're not going crazy. You are just clairaudient. You can hear. You have clear hearing. So the guides are telling you, work on that, and then trust the process. Don't allow others to control you or tell you that it's not real, because you know you. And I say to people, you need to do you. You do you really well. Don't do me. Don't do the neighbour. Do you. Don't try and do. You find them on the internet. You go, this person. They don't compare your journey to anybody else's. I've been on this journey for a very long time. This happened to be the only meat sack left on earth that I took a year after 3. That's it. But I have had many lifetimes, and so have they. Guess what? You are remembering who you are. You are their audience. People love labels. Like humans love labels. You're a psychic medium, I'm clairvoyant, I'm clairsentient, I'm this, I'm that. Great, go for it. But if you need a label, pick one. I don't. You can do anything. But trust the process. Set your boundaries and work on it. And your guides will give you what they know that you can work with. Your guides will run you through a pace that they know that you're comfortable with. They're not gonna. They will, like, you can have one or two. I was gonna say, like, if you're clairvoyant and you see them in the night time, because that's when you're, like, you're sleeping, you're laying there, you're looking in the daytime. Like, is that really someone there? You might find 6 or 7 of them there. You can say, like, just come one at a time, okay? Don't all come at once. You're gonna freak me out. And then you'll shut down, so that they know. Just go with it. You're not crazy. If you just sit there with a pen and start writing, go for it. Meditation is an amazing tool. I love meditating. I can come to my healing centre, thankfully, because I have a key. I can come whenever I want to. And I can meditate and light my candles, throw the incense down, or just sit in peace and talk. Once you start connecting to your guides, they will show you more and more of what you can do. And that doesn't mean that if you start working with your guides, that, in 6 months, I've been doing this for 6 months and I haven't got very far. Okay. You've done something, you're going at your own pace. Do not compare your journey with somebody else's. Go at your own pace, go at your own speed. Don't let people tell you, oh no, you're not clairvoyant, oh no, that's silly, or no. Children are great. Children will dress up as fairies and they go, I'm a ballerina, I'm a fairy, I'm a this. You know what? Because they are. They are. Yeah. And then they get to 5 and you're not allowed to wear your wings to school anymore, or you're not allowed to wear your Superman stuff, or you're not allowed to wear your Harry Potter anymore because you're not really a wizard. That's just for children to play with your imaginary friend. No, it's not. When you're a child, what did you want to do? What did you want to be? Listen to those things and just follow through. If you have doubt, find somebody that you can connect with, and find someone that can mentor you and encourage you to open up your package at your pace without judgment. That's how it works. That's what I say to people. I've had people go, I can't even bear them in this now. Oh, Vicki, can you teach me what you do now? But I can show you to remember what you do.
I love that. I love that so much. And that's beautiful, beautiful pieces of advice, and sort of little hints and tips for people who are reawakening, re-remembering. And to start off with, it's a very Matrix moment of, like, suddenly everything is so weird and so different, and I'm, and it's like, am I really going this path? Am I not going this path? Like, what? I'm seeing things that I never saw before. I'm hearing things that I never heard before. Things are starting to click in weird ways that I never thought, and I'm feeling all a bit lost, and yet excited, but a bit scared, and you just got all this stuff coming up. And, like, for me, when I first started back into my journey, the first little stuff that came through was actually my spirit awareness of spirit. So it came through as a very cute little story. I'll go into it, and then we'll be able to have our last question, our most tastiest question. But this little journey was, I was at a friend's house for dinner. I'd never been to their house before, and they have this lovely big hallway down the center of their house, and they had pictures all along the walls, like, called a memory wall. And there was this one particular black and white picture of the house, and it had a ribbon with a ring, and it was, the ring was tied on this ribbon on the picture. And I was like, what's this about? And the lady looked at me and she says to me, well, we found it in the garden when we were redoing the garden. So we thought, well, maybe somebody's lost it. So we took it down to the cop shop, but the cop shop they hung on to it for a couple of months or 6 months or whatever it was, that nobody claimed it. So they rang us up and said, did you want it back? And so we're like, yeah, that's cool. Well, we're not sure what we'll do with it, but yeah, sure. And this lady is somebody who's very spiritual, but she knew at that stage that I was interested. I was curious, spiritually curious, but I wasn't in it, if you get what I mean. And that was it that night? No, 2 nights later, I was in bed. I was just about falling to sleep, and all of a sudden, I see this ring come into my vision and slowly turn, so that I could see and identify the ring, because it had all of these little flowers all punched into it. And I know you can see it already. And then next thing, over this side, so this ring is just slowly moving around, and over this side, these eyes, these bluest eyes came through. And they were very friendly eyes. It wasn't anything to be scared of. And I was just like, okay. Did that ring belong to you? And because I was like, I have no fucking idea what to do. I don't know how I'm supposed to interact with this. I've never had anything like this before. And so, because I'd shut down all my awareness of spirit and stuff when I was about 9, between 7 and 9. So this feeling of lightness came across me when I asked if it belonged to him. And then it was like, because I was aware it was man's eyes. It was a set of men's eyes. They weren't ladies' eyes, they were men's eyes. And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, did that belong to your wife? And it was light again. So I was like, okay, so did you give this ring to your wife? And it was like, yes. And I was like, okay. So I couldn't hear anything at the stage. It was just a feel. So I could see and feel. And next thing you know, the ring moved like this, like an opening of a door, and the eyes moved. I could still see both, but then I was seeing their front room back in the early 1900s. And this gentleman had 3 children, and they were playing with a train set in their funny little knickerbocker pants, and and they were just having a beautiful time. And I said, and I could just feel all of this huge amount of love from this gentleman towards his children. And I never got to see the wife, but it was just so much love. And I was like, wow, that's so beautiful. Thank you for showing me. And I knew that my friends were looking at moving to Australia, because this is in New Zealand. And I said, all of a sudden it kind of just came to me, an intuitive thought, if you like, or an information that he plopped in there. And I just said, did you want me to tell my friends that you want the ring to stay with the house when they move? And it was so light. And I was like, okay, well, I promise that I will tell.
I have just got goosebumps.
I said, I promise I will tell her. And he put his arm across my body, and it weighed down, like it was like heavy on me. And I was like, oh, it was a little bit jarring to suddenly feel that weight. And I was like, I promise, I truly promise that I will tell my friend tomorrow. And it lifted just slightly. And I was like, okay. So the next day when I rang my friend at work, and I said to her, I've got a bit of a funny story to tell you. And I went into what had happened, and she just started laughing. And I was like, why are you laughing? And she goes, well, there's a little bit I didn't tell you. She says, I've actually taken that ring to my spiritual group, and they've all said very similar things to you. And he quite clearly is definitely wanting that ring to stay with the house, because otherwise he wouldn't have come to you, who's obviously still a novice at this stage, to make sure that I got the message. And I was just like, oh, wow. And as soon as she acknowledged all of that, the weight lifted and he went away. And I was just like, whoa. So that was my starting of my journey to really coming back into, and it was just such a beautiful, I'm so grateful for him, because he helped me to see that working with spirit it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to, because that's what it was for a while there. It was really scary for me as a little kid. You know,
people have that perception. They think, I see dead people. I see, there's a monster under the bed. It's not a monster under the bed. It's your ancestors. It's your spirit guides. It's your guardian angels. We're all born with guardian angels. You can have anywhere between 1 and 15. They're ascended masters. They're your galactic family. There's your light family. There's your angelic family. There's creator. Like, it's not scary once you know who they are. And this gentleman, his mission was to show you that this is this was your path, to open up your spiritual box and see what gift was inside. And there's plenty of gifts in there, and there's still about 4 or 5 that you haven't opened, but you will get to that in time. You will get to them. I know.
Yeah, I know.
There's more. And that's exactly what happens when people are new to their own awakening. They're like, geez, I'm alert to what something happened about me. Then it is take your own time, pick one gift out the box, like you did, pick out one gift and work with that. And so once he knew that you knew that was what you are and who you are and what you can do, his job was done, and off he flushed. Off you go. And we, jumped on. Kudos to him. Next. Off to the next one. That's how it works. Beautiful.
It's so cool. It's one of my favorite stories to tell, actually. And it's like, even to this day, I still see his blue eyes. They were just the colors of like the Mediterranean and the sky all mixed together. It was just so stunningly blue. And I've never seen anybody with a set of eyes like that that I'm aware of as yet, but except for him.
Not in this lifetime, but in the past you have. And he felt comfortable with you receiving that message. So he was able to deliver that message to you in a way that you were able to understand and go, you know what, I'm not really freaked out here. You came, you set the boundaries, this spirit came to you. And he does often come back to visit you to help you along the way.
That's so beautiful. That just brought tears to my eyes. Thank you.
Because I don't think they ever really leave us.
Yeah. He certainly, that level of love that he had for his family was just overwhelming in a lot of ways. And then I found out more about how he'd actually gone off to war. He'd given the ring, which had forget-me-not flowers on it. And he'd given that to his wife before he left, so that it was like saying, forget me not, don't forget me. Even if I die on the battlefield or whatever, please don't forget me. And unfortunately, he did pass away while he was in the war.
At the end of the day, he's not forgotten either, because now you, not only did his wife get to remember him and his children remember him, and they're long gone as well, but now you remember him. Your friend remembers him, the spiritual group remembers him, and now the people watching here or listening, or those are here or not here, they're going to remember him as well. So he's not forgotten. There's no such thing as coincidence in my world. Forget me what for a reason, not just for his wife, but now he's remembered throughout as well. And that's just so beautiful to be remembered like that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, on to our last, most tasty question. But before we get there, but wait, there's more.
There's always more. You can have, we don't have steak knives, but I've got a selenite light. You can have an obsidian knife or a labradorite knife, any knife, pick one. Use it to stick if you want.
I would love to know, what have you got coming up for workshops or things like that? Have you got anything in the works?
Oh, there's always something in the works. Trust me. I often tell people I'm insomniac, but it's just not the case. I just channel 24/7. So during the daylight hours, when I'm, the Lady Hawk, I get to do stuff for mortals and humans, and then as twilight comes, I get to do my own stuff. Workshops are aplenty. I didn't know that people don't know. I didn't know that there were so many that just don't know. Which is why I had this manifesting workshop, which was really hilarious, because I said to my friend, I didn't even write a manual for it because nobody's coming. People did come, and they didn't know how to manifest. And I did not know how to do that. And then I've got a workshop for the pioneer, and I had to do advertising. Like, go onto my Soul Space page and look for the cover there, or go to my page, my personal page, which I call it personal, but there's nothing personal on there. I think personal needs to stay at home, and business can go, to the public. Go to the personal account and make events, right? You don't need to know my personal life. You just need to know, unless you're my friend, that's different. And so I make an event. So I've got a candle. I call it candle magic, because magic is everywhere. Magik. I'm not talking about David Copperfield magic, Alakazam pulls something out of a hat. I'm talking magic from Earth. So I've got a candle magic. I didn't know that people didn't know how to dress a candle. I didn't know that they didn't have a bless on. I didn't even know that they didn't know what colour to choose. I didn't know. People go like, candle magic, that's good. But do you not like birthday candles and charms? That's a ritual, That's magic with a candle. You're looking from a freaking cake. Right? You've got particular colours and numbers. Look at all of these. So I've got a candle. I just didn't know that people didn't know. I've got. I will be doing protection, because a protection workshop's coming up as well. I've got all that, so that people don't know how to protect their own energy. They don't know how to protect their house. There's a bazillion empaths out there, and people come to me and like, I feel like this is. I go, none of that's yours. You haven't shielded yourself. You haven't protected the house. You're just a walking emotional sponge that you like to suck up everyone's emotions, and that's why you feel like fear. So let's show you how to do that. You don't know how to clean your aura. What? I've got an aura? Yeah, we all got an aura. You know how to clean that. So, protect your house from unwanted. Not just talking about people knocking on your door. Not talking about people physically that you don't want to see. You can protect your house from the Fae. Like, let's face it, not all of those little fuckers are fun. So I protect the house from everything. And energy. So we've got that coming up. There's always a workshop coming up. You need to give me time to get the pen and paper and write it, because I'm not really good at, doing this, type it out, and then it goes somewhere up there in the cloud. The only cloud I know is up there creating, so I don't even know what a cloud is. You've got to do something, put it out there. So keep a track on my page. Stalk the page. How's that? Don't stalk my soul. I'll put up. I changed my with the cover. Your photo at the top of your business page, and tell you what workshop, when I'm doing it. Just click the invite if you wanted to go. If you don't want to go, don't worry about it. And that's how I will eventually get to the workshop. And there's like almost a workshop a month. We've got Reiki workshop coming up in February, which is really important. So, everything in my world is important. Reiki's important because it shows people that, you can go help your friends. You can go help. Reiki starts with helping yourself. Go energetically help yourself. Then you can help your friends, and you can help your family, like you can help the kids. Like, oh dear God, we've got to go back to school. Like, best part about school was lunch. Well, you know what? We just give kids some Reiki so they've got confidence to face their day. So there's like all sorts of tarot card workshops coming up. I don't know. I think you've done all that thinking, but I have to do one on how to make your own incense.
Wow.
Welcome to my world. Welcome to my little hut in the world.
So just some hellos that I have missed. There's Annie who's joined us.
Oh my God, Annie, yeah. And Annie is the most she's amazing. My beautiful friend over in Got on this tune. You're coming to Australia, remember, we got the Lions Day. This woman will blow your socks off, even if you're not wearing any, right from the chest of drawers in your bedroom. Annie just wrote a children's book. Get onto her and get this book. It's just beautiful. Beautiful. This is
Excellent.
I've never met her face to face, but I call upon Hecate and I'll go astro travel with her. Oh my God. I will wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God, are you awake? Because I can smell, are you here? I can smell hot chocolate and cigarettes, and then we'll FaceTime because I'm out on the porch. Oh my God, Annie. Sorry,
and we've got Charlie who's joined us from the YouTube land. So I don't know Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie. I don't know Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Welcome.
And we've got Lynn who's tuned in from New Zealand. She came in to hear this. Yay! She came in here to hear the story of my ghosty story.
Nice.
And Adair. Hello to Adair Palmer. So she's tuning in from Queensland, if I remember rightly.
Oh, wow.
So isn't that cool? We've got a few friends poking through, so that's lovely. Thank you so much all for joining us. It's so cool.
Yes. I can't see anything here on the chat bits, so thank you for calling out those names and shout out. And shout out to those that will be watching later, whether you're watching on your phone or watching with a friend.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah. The best thing to do with anybody is just do it with a friend. Do everything with a friend, I reckon.
So, if you could sit next to any person on the park bench for the afternoon, who would it be and why?
I see this question a lot. Now, I did explain that they're not dead, right? So I can talk to anybody in any realm.
Doesn't matter.
And
in any realm.
Matter where you come from, right? So I can go talk to the Lyrians, I can talk to my Palladians, I can talk to the Atlanteans. Oh my God, they're fun. I would sit with Annie. If I could sit with anyone in the world, I'd sit with Annie. Aww. Because I haven't had the chance to do that yet. And she is fantastical, absolutely fantastical. And we have had some hilarical nights, I tell you. And the good thing is, like, we're 15 hours, Australia's 15 hours ahead of America. You go, hey, gorgeous, you're talking to your future. I would talk to the living. I would talk, if I could spend an hour or half an hour, 10 minutes, I'd spend it with my friends. Renee, my friend Renee up at Gawler Templars, I don't get to talk to her a lot. On the phone, yay, big deal, woo-woo. I get to hear your voice, but I don't actually get to smell you, and I don't get to feel your energy, and I don't get to see you. I would sit with her. I don't hand out gifts. I don't believe in Christmas because I'm not Christian, right? So to me, it's like different. But those that believe in Christmas, knock your socks off. Merry Christmas. I give out gifts of my time and my energy. So I would sit with you for half an hour and have another cup of tea. I would sit with people that I love, and I would put them, just because Annie's on top of the list, it's only because she's so far away. But I'm going to get you here somehow. I'm going to get you here too. I've got to get you to Australia. I would sit with those that I love. I sit with those that I love.
I love that answer. Do you know, every single person that I've interviewed has said something different? Every single person, and I love that. I love that question for that reason.
it means something to everybody, though. It means something different to everybody. And like I say, you're not dead. You just okay, so you're physically not here, but I can still hear you. And maybe I can't see you dumb, but I can still hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. There's many people have said things like, you know, if they could have them sitting there right next to you. People many have spoken about loved ones that have passed. You know, just to have another half an hour or an afternoon with their mother or grandmother or grandfather or something like that. Then there's the wise people that come through, the leaders, the inspirational people that have come through. But yours has been the most expansive answer I've had so far. I love it.
Well, they're eventually going to die, but I might die first, or not. And so if they're gonna, puff away, well, I won't get to spend time with them. I think that's it. That's I'm doing this candle workshop. I didn't actually know that people don't know how to talk to their ones that have passed with a candle. I didn't know that. Like, you shitting me. You don't know how. So it's like, well, okay, well, why would I want to talk to your grandfather? Why do I need to hear his words? I don't need to hear his voice. You need to hear his voice. His voice just is a voice for me. But it means everything to that person. So, knock yourself out, light a candle, talk to them.
Oh,
talk to the living, because they're the ones that are here now. You can talk to the dead whenever you need.
I agree. I actually have some interesting stories, many interesting stories to talk about the dead people. But we are out of time, my friends. We are out of time. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for coming to play with us. Thank you. There it is. Thank you for sharing your space. Of course, all of Vicki's notes, all of Vicki's bits and pieces are in the show notes. I will go back over and make sure that I put in your studio address so people can come to your studio and check you out. And get in touch with you to come and enjoy some of your yummy, delicious treats at your and spiritual yummy support.
You're welcome just to come and say hello.
Or just to come and say hello.
Just come and say hello. I only opened in November, so if you want to come and send me a message, just say who you are, because I won't know who you are otherwise. I don't remember names, I do remember energy.
Yes, I'm very similar, actually. I'll remember a face really, really well. I'll remember people's energy really, really well. Names, I'm getting better. Better.
It's unimportant to me, but it's important to them, so I make an effort to try to remember them. I just can't. I always remember their name.
No. I have some interesting thoughts around that. Anyway. Alrighty, my lovelies. Thank you so much, Vicki,
for allowing me to spend some time with you. It is actually I do feel quite honoured to be put on a show like this. No one's actually asked me before, so that's exciting. And since I was asked, it's like, well, you just got to, do the lady type of thing. They're all to everyone. I said to my friend, I have to grow my hair, just,
Your hair looks stunning. Mwah. Chef's kiss.
You can like so you can't see how naked I am underneath, like bearing on. So, yeah.
You're so cute.
I'm very honoured. And we'll have to catch up when you're not working so hard and have cups of tea again.
Yes, absolutely. Alrighty, everybody. Of course, I'll be back on Friday for Find You Fridays at 8 p.m. over in the same place that we are now, but Friday. And next week we have Michelle Finich from Elevated Health. I have to write it down. She does iridology, and she's a nutritionist and stuff like that. She's very, very cool to speak with. So I'm looking forward to that chat next week. In the meantime, do something tasty for yourself. I don't really care what it is. Just get out there and do something tasty and nurturing for yourself. I love you. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.